Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to my newest video. For those of you that don't know me personally, my name is Spencer Thomas, and I currently own and operate Spencer's Animal Encounters, a wildlife education and outreach company in Western New York. Now, before I get started, I just want to say a huge thank you to all my friends and family for all their love and support in regards to me starting this channel. Although I'm new to YouTube, I've been a wildlife educator for approximately 10 or so years. I put out new videos on my channel at least once a week, so if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. And with that, let's get on to the topic of today's video. Let's talk tortoise. This is a pancake tortoise. She's approximately 6 years old, and her name is Waffles. In the wild, pancake tortoises can be found in Kenya and Tanzania, with some small isolated populations in Zambia and Zimbabwe. They inhabit rocky outcrops that pop up in thorn scrub and savannas known as copies. Pancake tortoises live in isolated colonies in these copies, with many individuals sharing the same space, and they may even share the same rock crevice. In January and February, that is when the mating season begins, and males will fight for access to females, with the larger male usually coming out on top. In July and August is when females will begin nesting and laying eggs. However, in captivity, they will breed all year round. So one really cool, unique thing about pancake tortoises is that unlike many other species of tortoise, they only lay one egg at a time. As I stated previously, pancake tortoises live in rocky outcrops in Africa. And as you can imagine, the climate is very hot and dry, with very little to no standing water or rainfall. Multiple times a week, I fill up the tub with a small amount of warm water and treat it with a dechlorinator made especially for reptiles. This more naturally simulates how water would appear in their environment, as they would have to wait for it to rain. I let the tortoises soak, and more often than not, they will also go to the bathroom, as well as drink. This helps keep their enclosure clean. So I'm going to let you guys finish up their bath, and then we can talk about their diet. Pancake tortoises are completely vegetarian. They feed primarily on dry grasses and succulents. In captivity, it is very important to replicate this as best as possible. The key factors in a tortoise diet are a lot of calcium, a lot of fiber, and no animal protein. My tortoises get a variety of dark leafy greens, hay, and they will also get other vegetables for variety, and occasionally a small piece of fruit for enrichment. I also grow both hibiscus and a puncha cactus to feed them, as these cacti are high in calcium. Because my babies are so little, I make sure they have fresh greens available at all times. I will also remove the stems and finely chop them so that it's easier for them to eat. Once everything is finely chopped, I add a calcium supplement and some dry hay. I have found that sometimes it can be difficult to get a tortoise to eat hay, so here's a quick zookeeper pro tip for you. If you finely chop the hay and mix it with the greens, they will stick together and your tortoise is more likely to consume it. Adding calcium also prevents metabolic bone disease. For those of you that don't know, metabolic bone disease is caused by a lack of calcium or sufficient calcium and causes deformities in the animal's extremities. So now we have a complete diet ready to feed our tortoises. So I have 3 pancake tortoises. My female Waffles is approximately 6 years old and came from a private pet store in Western New York that is no longer open. My 2 babies are named Chocolate and Chip, and they came from a private breeder in Ohio. It is very important to breed these guys in captivity as they are critically endangered in the wild. This is due to overcollection for food and the pet trade, and because these guys lay so few eggs at a time, their reproduction rate is not very high. As you can see, this enclosure provides them a lot of room to walk around. And in a minute, Waffles will demonstrate how she would escape from a predator. They tuck themselves under these rocks and then wedge themselves toward the back, which makes them very, very difficult for a predator to consume. So here's a larger look at their enclosure. So because my babies are handled a lot, they're a lot more social. I'm just going to see if they want to eat. I make sure to provide plenty of food so that there's no competition and no fighting. As you can see, Waffles is doing a great job at her defense, which is hiding under these rocks. If I was a predator, it would be very, very difficult for me to reach her, which is kind of the point. Doesn't look like she wants to come out and eat right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small pinch of greens and just put it in the front of her enclosure. That way she can eat while still hide and feel secure and protected. These guys are a very shy species and don't spend a lot of time out in the open. They prefer to eat and graze right around their den site. That way, if a predator comes along, they can quickly scoot back under the rocks to safety. So while I'm here, let's talk about their enclosure. This is a stock tank, and it's designed to water livestock, such as horses and cows. It provides plenty of surface area for them to move around. The low design also allows the tortoises to get right up under the heat light, which is very important for their metabolic processes. It is not advisable to keep tortoises in glass tanks as they don't understand glass and will continually rub their faces in it and try to walk through it because they don't understand that there's a barrier there. This can cause stress and injury on your tortoise. The rock ledges in their habitat provide hiding and climbing opportunities and mimic the African copies that they will naturally be found in. Currently, there is no substrate because my animals are currently not laying eggs as they are too young. No substrate allows for easy cleaning and disinfecting, as well as being able to monitor food consumption, as well as collect fecal samples. I also didn't want to add too much substrate because I didn't want the animals to burrow under the rocks and then have them collapse and then have them get hurt. Also, there's not a lot of space under the first ledge, and that is where my tortoises prefer to hang out. So I didn't want to fill that area with substrate because then they would have to excavate it all out anyway. There's plenty of different furniture and enrichment items in this enclosure, and it keeps them pretty active. So I'm not sure if you can see, but currently all 3 tortoises are wedged right up in there. Right under this rock, just like they would do in the wild. Time for a recap. Pancake tortoises live in rocky outcrops in Tanzania and Kenya. They're completely vegetarian and they eat cactuses, dried grass, and other vegetation. Unlike other species of tortoise, they have a soft, squishy shell, which allows them to get into rocky crevices in order to escape predators. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing. Leave me a comment, like the video, share it with your friends. I would really appreciate it. I have a lot of cool ideas for new awesome videos, and I have a really exciting one coming up next week. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And I'll see you guys next time.